Welcome back to the Two Promises podcast. Let's dive right into another exciting adventure with BD and crew as he pursues his new passion of one day finding the most epic bourbon. The Two Promises team send their special thanks to Hobie and the Huckleberries for their masterful theme music. So grab a glass, relax, and enjoy responsibly.
Baby says she's leaving if I don't stop drinking wine. So I switched to whiskey, now I'm feeling fine. Drinking that smooth, smooth whiskey. No more wine. I like straight bourbon. Baby, you try the ride.
So you obviously had great military career, done a lot of great things, handed out tons and tons of ice cream.
Tons of ice cream, bro.
Ice cream.
Bluebell ain't got shit on me. So.
Marines love the ice cream. That's what I'm getting out of this.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, you made a transition. And I think that there's a lot of what you're talking about right now. You've got your name of Deliberately Broken.
Yep.
And that is marking kind of your transition from the war stuff, the military stuff, into music.
Absolutely.
So music for me, I needed that in my healing journey. It got me through. It gave me structure, if you will. And I don't know where I would be without it. So I think it's absolutely fascinating that you have gone all the way in. And I'd love to hear a little bit more about how that came about, why you chose Deliberately Broken, any and all of that.
So Deliberately Broken has been a name that I've used for a long time. I can tell you right about when it came up. And it came up probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 2011, maybe. Or no, not even that. It came out sooner than that. Probably more like 2009, 2008, 2009. I was still on active duty. And we started a band. I was already in a band called Slack Noise, spelt with a Z. SLACKNOIZE. Great band. We were all freaking quality musicians. We were pretty talented. People were just on active duty, and it was just, and I was not healthy. I was not healthy. I was constantly drinking, chronically drinking. And it was bad. I was looking for trouble all the time because for some reason I couldn't answer what was going on in my head with Fallujah and Anazaria and all that shit, and my life at home and all the people that I have back here. Like, again, this is all me and my perspective that caused all this issue. So I'm sitting here, I'm thinking to myself, well, the world just sucks. People suck. You suck. I suck. We suck. Fuck everybody. And I don't want to play games anymore. So I drank myself stupid. So Slack Noise falls apart, and I start to pull myself back together, and I start doing therapy again, and I start putting myself back together. And Deliberately Broken, it becomes my new mantra, kind of. And Deliberately Broken has picked up so many different connotations and changed in so many different ways over the years. It started that I chose deliberately to protect and to serve my country. So I deliberately chose to be broken the way I am. But I think what has since then bounded, I should say, is that I think that I've realized that, do you hear that? So Deliberately Broken was initially just about me, but has become so much bigger than that, because now I am not the best Christian on the planet. I am not. Nor do I think I ever will be. I just work at it every day. And some days I don't work at it. And that's fucking horrible. But I want to be a good Christian man. So I work at it. That being said, I look at it now and I see Deliberately Broken, and I see Jesus Christ on the cross. Because he knew what he came here for. He knew exactly what he came here for. He came here to live 33 years of life as perfectly as possible to show us that it could be done, and to take on every burden of our sins and die so that we would be able to talk to our own God. That is truly what Deliberately Broken means to me.
That's incredible.
So to me personally, there's no better connotation of Deliberately Broken than Jesus Christ. It's just that simple.
That's powerful.
Now you think about that for a few minutes. when I think about how Jesus did some of his best work in a bar, did his best work in a brothel, did some of his best work at a town square, he didn't do it at church. He wasn't standing at a pulpit. That man was standing out with all his people. That dude stood at Lake Galilee and was like, hey, man, hold on. You only got 2 fish and a loaf of bread? Hold on, I got you, bro. Hold still. I got you. That's where Jesus Christ did his work, man.
Right.
And he did that publicly for 33 freaking years. He did that publicly for 33 years. And then he was stoned and beaten and whipped with cat nine tails. And people still to this day don't know what cat nine tails are. You take a freaking piece of leather and you cut strips out of the end of that leather and you braid them and you put pieces of glass and rock in that piece of leather and that becomes a cat nine tail. And then you fucking cleave pieces of flesh off of humans' bodies with them. Jesus took 40 lashes with a cat nine tail and then had a thorn cross put on his head and carried
On that back. There's all
on that back a freaking 400-pound cross up to the top of Mount Sinai and then was nailed to it and forgave a man standing next to him. Forgave him. And then at the very end, as he looked up at the sky, Lord, please forgive them, for they know not what they do.
right.
And then he wept as he said, Lord, why have thou forsaken me? And I'm crying right now in the middle of saying this. I got tears rolling out of my eyes right now. As he said that, he took the last breath and he said, it's done. How much more deliberately broken can you be? How much more deliberately broken can you be? Even at the Last Supper, Jesus knew that Judas was going to betray him, and he knew he was going to prison. Did he kick Judas out of the house? No, he didn't. They celebrated that last meal to the end of the meal, and then he went to the cross. Just like that. That's real. You can try to deny that all you want, man. You ain't doing nothing but screwing yourself. You can't see the beauty. Like I'm telling you right now, like I've got tears in my eyes. Like it's like that's real, man. That to me is real. You don't get any realer than that.
Right.
You really, truly want to live something like that? Those are the sacrifices you need to look at. You want to talk about living a super powerful life. You want to live a super powerful life? I'm going to tell you where you're going to get your guideline. Your guideline is in red in the World Bible, in the King James Bible. It's all in red. Everything Jesus ever did. That's your supernatural guidebook.
Absolutely.
You can take that into the bank. I can't believe I came on here to give you a freaking gospel podcast.
I'm glad you did. That's
I always said,
powerful stuff.
I always said, I was like, I don't want everybody to be a preacher or a pastor. Or I always said, I want to be a gateway guy. I want to be the guy that brings you close to it. I don't want to be the guy that gets you there. You know, I don't want to be the guy that stands on a pulpit. I never wanted to be that guy. But, you know, I think that what I'm learning is like, hey, man, if you want to make God laugh, just tell him what your plans are.
Yeah.
You could be like, oh, you're cute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with, I'll give you my testimony every day, all day, man. Like, I should be dead. Brent, before I met you, I should have been in prison. My 4th DUI. Well, I'd probably be out by now. But my 4th DUI would be at least a year prison sentence. I would have been in prison for at least a year. So 2021, I would have gotten out. But I didn't go to prison. I was on probation for basically 2 years. And I haven't had a drop of alcohol in 4 years. I haven't had a drop of alcohol in 4 years.
That's awesome. Now,
Do I occasionally use THC for pain and to sleep every now and then? Sure, absolutely. I am not gonna lie to you. I am not. Listen, man, I ain't perfect. I am as fucked up as a football bat. Promise you. But at least I own that. That's the bigger picture. I know I'm jacked up. And I don't have a problem with talking about it. I don't. We can talk about it all day long. Because that's what fixes it. Learning. learning from my mistakes. We've forgotten how to do that. We've forgotten that mistakes are some of the biggest teachers on the planet. So, I don't know how profound this sounds. In my head, it sounded great.
Oh, that's great. I'm digging it all. I mean, and kind of in that vein there is just maybe that's a little indicator on your little dashboard, your car dashboard. If you're having the same problem, the same situation coming up over and over and over again, maybe that's the time to like step back and say, okay, what am I not learning? What mistake?
What's the common denominator here, man?
Yeah. What mistake do I keep repeating that I need to pull myself out of to be able to get
But see,
past?
Brent, that's the problem. Nobody's asking that question. They're asking, why did he do that to me? Why did she make me say that? Why did this guitar make me drop it on the ground? Why did this gun make me shoot that person? What? You're stupid. You're a human being. That's an inanimate object. Inanimate object didn't do shit. It just, you picked it up. You fucked it up. Period.
Mm-hmm.
You are the being that does things with things. The thing doesn't do shit without you. Like, stop. If you really, truly want to own something, and I'm not talking about if you want to own like a business or you want to own a company or you want to own a name or a brand, what you need to own, what I needed to own first was me. I needed to own me first. And if I don't own me, what's the point? Who's driving the bus at that point? It ain't me. It ain't me. So what? Why do I need to worry about it? Oh, because now I'm going to be upset because we're not going where I think we should go. But wait, you gave up driving the bus. But now you're going to blame the bus driver. Well, the opportunity was for you to drive the bus, but you chose to not drive the bus. You chose to give the bus to somebody else, and you just rode. So now your perspective is that the bus driver, because you let the bus driver take over, didn't get you where you wanted to go. Anybody see the toxicity in that?
Right.
When we talk about all this toxic masculinity and shit, kiss my ass. Just kiss my ass. Kiss my ass. You want to know who some of the most toxic people on the planet are? It ain't guys. You look at all these women walking around with vaginas on their face and in their heads and shit out there in freaking public. Like you don't think we know you have a vagina? Like you're going to walk around with that, but you won't put it on, you won't show it to me openly in the bedroom? Like, fuck off. Like, shut up. I mean, we're all toxic. It's all about perspective, and it's all about what I choose to do with what's in front of me. And if I choose to be a good man and not to hold myself over other people, that's what I want to do. And that's where I like to live. And that means ain't none of you better than me, and I ain't better than none of you. Simple math. I'm going to coin a phrase. I'm going to start coining the phrase simple math.
Simple math. Simple math. I
listen,
like it.
Listen. Let's talk about, so you were talking about drones earlier. Let's talk about drones and taking a shot, right? Taking a long shot. Drones, you have to calculate battery time and all this other stuff, right? Blah, blah, blah. You got to do all that stuff. And the computer generally does most of the math for you, right?
Right.
And there's usually a fail-safe that if the drone runs out of battery or before it runs out of battery, it will return home. All right. Those are all fail-safes. However, mission's done. You have one of two options. Dump the bird or get the bird home. Right? Dump the bird. And if you're going to dump the bird, make sure the bird is unsalvageable. Right? Because you don't want anybody getting any information from them. Right? So, if you're going to dump the bird where it'll never be found. And if you're going to retrieve the bird, you have to have time to retrieve the bird. Right?
Right.
But there's a lot of math that goes into that, right? So you have to have battery time. You have to have wind speed. Like, there are a couple of freaking physics laws that are involved, right? So, drag and Boyle's law and all these things that are involved. So, that being said, could that flight path be done with simple math? Simple math could figure out the trajectory of a bullet. I don't have to do trigonometry to figure out where I'm going. I can just do long math, simple math. But trigonometry makes it faster, because we use variabilities, but we can do the same thing and do long math with the same variables, right? So why is it that we like to complicate our math when it comes to life? Why is it that we have to complicate everything? Why can't I just go, well, that's purple. Purple is a color that is mixed between blue and red. 2 different colors that go into that color. Cool. Simple. But now you want to start creating things like the 109 crayon box and shit. Now you got to change some change some colors. You got to change some things. You got to make things more complicated. But if you just use the natural 8 colors in the box, things are simple. And you could still make things look realistic with 8 colors. Tell me I'm wrong.
Oh, that is something that I've been learning in my art school and education I've been doing lately. They'll do I can't remember exactly what they call it, but just like blending or something like that. So they'll take
etching
one
or
color.
Yeah, etching or blending or sketch. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you'll take your other color and you'll put it kind of next to it, and they're kind of right in that visual field, really next to it. So then whenever you step back and you look at it, it appears to be...
They're together. They're blended.
Yep.
Right. And the reality is that they're completely separate. Completely separate. Well, it's just like etching and hatching in art. Like etching is just lines in one way. It's basically you're shading with lines, right? Hatching, you're doing it with X's.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they all have their place. They all have their place and they all have their depth. But it's one tactic versus 65. Some of the best artists just are very simple. They just do lines and shading.
Yeah.
And that's what makes things so beautiful. Lines and shading. Just variabilities of that same line, just swept out a little bit longer. So the simpler things are, the easier they are for people to grasp and follow along with. But when you complicate everything, it just gets fucking weird.
Uh-huh.
So stop complicating shit, people.
Right.
At least that's what I have to tell myself every day. Because I will. I will complicate the fuck out of ice cream. And we know I'm good with ice cream.
Yep.
I like to eat ice cream a lot.
Not only do I like to give it away, but I like to eat it too.
Facts and shit. I like to dress up in it and wear it and maybe take a bath in it sometimes. That's creepy. My favorite bath condiment is mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise.
It's not weird at all, is it?
No.
No. Creeper. But no, man, I don't know. To me personally, I think that's just we've got to get back to owning our own freaking responsibilities, and B, we need to work on our perspective. You're not a fucking victim. Stop trying to play one.
Right.
Stop trying to create nonprofits that they don't need. We don't need a nonprofit. We need another nonprofit like we need a hole in the wall. You want to start something, start a business, and then do a philanthropic arm. In the state of Texas, until the end of this year, you can start an LLC for free if you're a veteran.
That's pretty impressive.
You can start an LLC for free in the state of Texas if you're a veteran. All it takes is 3 little pieces of paper. That's a fact.
Nice.
And I bet you if you look in the rest of the country, you're going to learn the same thing. There's going to be somebody, some grant, something that will give you an opportunity to start your own fucking business right where you're standing. Stop making things easy on yourself and just get back to what you're used to. You want to grind. If you don't want to grind, don't grind. But own it.
Mm-hmm.
Either way. And shut up bitching about it because it ain't going to do you any damn good. Nobody wants to hear it anymore.
Right.
If you got a problem, we're here to help. But if you don't want help and you just want to bitch about a problem, you're probably part of the problem. And the reality is you're a warrior. If you're a United States Armed Forces veteran, I don't really care what you did. I did a podcast not too long ago with a Marine Corps band guy. He was the band marshal or the band master or band leader. You know, the guy with the baton and all that shit.
Yeah.
Like, that dude's got a lot of responsibility when it comes to the band. But what people don't know about the Marine Corps band is they're not just a band. When we're deployed, those guys are our force protection. While we're out off of the freaking rock doing whatever we're doing out in the freaking world, past the freaking barrier, they're searching and protecting the barrier.
Right.
Those guys are sitting on the walls while we're outside beyond the walls. So the band geeks that we have in the Marine Corps, they're not just band geeks. They're weapon specialists.
That's right.
They're tacticians. They're Marines. And I really don't give a shit whether you're a SEAL or you're an SF guy or you're a bulk fuel specialist for the Army. I really don't care. At the end of the day, you're all warriors. Stop playing victims. Stop it. You're not. Somebody gave you the card to play. Didn't mean you had to pick it up.
Yep. You get to choose your story. You don't have to get wrapped in that victim mindset, because when you're starting to identify as that it gets rooted deep and it's harder to weed out. But you can weed it out. You can weed it out, but you have
it
to.
It takes a lot of work.
You have to take the proactive steps to do it.
Yeah. Brent, listen, I'm sitting here talking to you like I've never had to do this. The reality is that I have done these things. I have been the guy who has played the victim. I have been the guy who stands at freaking, I don't know, Winn-Dixie or freaking Kroger and been like, fucking, I hate people. Oh, fucking, fuck you people. Fucking this, fucking you don't fucking understand. Well, the reality is that they didn't have to understand. It was never their fucking responsibility. It was always mine. The only person that's responsible for taking care of me is me. Nobody else. My mother lost that responsibility when I turned 18. Well, when I turned 17 and left the house. Like my mom she lost that responsibility. And I chose to let her lose that responsibility. That was my choice. I chose to move out. I chose to join the armed forces. I chose to do all these stupid things. I chose to drink alcohol. I chose to get in trouble. I chose all of these things. I chose to have an affair. I chose to screw up my relationship with my last wife. My first wife was just a pain in my ass. Like, I loved her with everything that I was, but she didn't give a shit. She didn't care. She was so broken that she didn't realize it. And I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it. She was 27. I was 19. She got what she needed out of me. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But the reality is that I chose that too. I chose her. Like, that was my fault. Nobody else's. And you know what it taught me? It taught me a lot. So I can't be mad at it. I'm not even really mad at her. God bless her. Like, she hurt me bad, but in the end, I let her. But that's part of life. In order for me to have a relationship, I have to be vulnerable, right? Because there's no relationship without true vulnerability and true connection. And the only way to have true connection is to be vulnerable enough to be connected. And so I chose to do that. And she chose to do whatever she chose to do. And to be honest with you, I blamed her forever. Ain't her fault. I mean, what she's done and who she is her fault, but I knew that when I met her.
Right.
I was 19. So it wasn't like I was well aware, but you know what it did teach me? What not to do in the future. Right.
And there's always those learning points too.
Right.
Thank you for joining us today on this curious roller coaster of life. If this is your stop, please exit peacefully. Enjoy the rest of your day. If you're ready for another one, just push play. Just a final note before you go. Thank you. And thank you for feeling. The distillation and aging process is different for everyone. I'm not quite sure what you're ready for. Sip slowly and enjoy responsibly.
Baby says she's leaving if I don't stop drinking wine. So I switched to whiskey and I'm feeling fine. Drinking Smooth, smooth whiskey. No more wine. I like straight